Okay, I think we can actually go across to TCS now. Stay with us, Moshe, and listen, and you will want to listen to Rajesh here.
We have done well together. We've managed to grow to a run rate of now $28 billion, and the market has also been rewarding us. And most importantly, from our employee side, we have continued to attract the best talent, and people love working for us, as it shows through in our retention and our ability to continuously transform. I want to also thank our customers who have continued to trust us and have continued to repose their trust in this relationship, which goes beyond individuals, and it has been with the institution throughout. And that trust has been the cornerstone of our success. And I'm grateful for everything that I enjoyed from the start. And I'm sure that it will also continue as Krithi now takes over. So overall, a day of mixed feelings for me. I'm happy where we are. I'm also a bit sad now that the reality of and momentousness of this step is slowly sinking in. But like in all these things, I think once you make up your mind or the thought starts coming into you, it is best to do it early rather than to sit and think about it for too long. So I once again thank all of you, your love, your attention, your questions. It has also been a big motivator for us for egging that performance on. And I'm sure that will continue to be the case with TCS as Krithi takes it on. So let me pause here and hand it over to Krithi, and then we'll be happy to take questions.
Sure. Thanks, Rajesh. Good morning, everyone. It's absolutely a great honor to be chosen to lead this organization. And it's, of course, in my view, big responsibility as well. TCS has been built on two important foundational pillars of customer centricity, as well as a huge set of employees who are always committed and who are given their best to TCS. So it gives us a great platform of growth. And over my 35 years in TCS, I've enjoyed every moment working with this team, and particularly the leadership team who has continued to foster the culture of one TCS and working only for the betterment of TCS, betterment of our clients. And with all the best wishes from everyone, I'm hoping to lead this company and double down on our core pillars of customer centricity, meeting more employees and meeting more customers and making the relationship stronger. Looking forward to working with all of you in future.
Thank you so much, Krithi, and thank you so much, Rajesh. We're going to throw the floor open for questions, as Rajesh said. So I strongly request everybody, for interest of time and so that we can accommodate as many questions, we would request you to stick to one question, please. And of course, we'll be meeting very soon again for the quarter results press conference. So you'll have them to answer all your questions. Let's start with ET now. Nikunj Dalmia. Nikunj, you can unmute yourself and switch on your camera.
Rajesh, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Rajesh, first my sincere compliments. I mean, TCS shareholders, I'm sure they're mighty excited under your tenure. The company has enjoyed great growth, great P multiples, and really became a formidable force to reckon with in the Indian IT space. But Rajesh, even though TCS has enjoyed a very stable quarter, it is a very stable leadership, the timing of your exit, Rajesh, is something which perhaps is making everybody slightly nervous. At a time when the IT sector is getting bulldozed and concerns are there in the US BFSI space, do you think this timing could have just waited?
Nikunj, if you look at it over the last 10 years, I mean, this is probably the most stable time that we have seen in many years. Think about the financial crisis, think about the pandemic, think about everything else that went on, the war that was started off last year. So this level of volatility, I would say, is par for the course. And yes, there will be some ups and downs. So that definitely is absolutely not a question. In fact, in times of crisis, we have always come together and absolutely stood together as a team. And then when I was reflecting in terms of what would be a good time, I felt that there's no better time than this. And also it was important to do this before the start of the new financial year, so that the incoming CEO, in this case Krithi, has that full runway to play with it. So from immediacy perspective, just before the start of the year, so that the whole year can be owned. And from a slightly longer term perspective, we have brought the volatility of the pandemic to a fair state. We have registered very strong growth, first bouncing off the pandemic lows with 15%. And then over the last 9 months also, we have still grown at 14.8%. And crossed big milestones. We crossed 7 billion, and we are now at a run rate of 28 billion. So when you look forward, I don't think there is going to be another period where there will be significantly difference in that stability for it to be. So it goes back to that question that you asked it, why now? And I asked myself, if not now, will there be a better time? And the frank answer was, I couldn't think that there could be anything better. And therefore, it made most logical sense.
So Rajesh, the immediate follow-up question is, when did you inform Chandra? What was his first reaction? And how did it go through? And what is next for Rajesh Gopinathan now? Everybody's curious about that. So I'm blending two questions into one.
Yeah, in terms of, I've been having discussions with Chandra off and on. And of course, when there is an immediate problem, we always focus on that. But in moments of retrospection, I've always been telling him that, at some point I want to do it. And so that's been an ongoing dialogue. The immediate one was, of course, that, as I said, and I think this is the way it happens with everybody probably, that one day you get up and then you say that, okay, we have thought about it and spoken about it long enough. It is better to, pull the trigger, as it were. So that happened just a week or so ago. But it's a conversation that has been ongoing. What next is, first, I have to make sure that the transition happens smoothly. And with Krithi being there, I don't think that is a challenge at all. But I owe it to all our customers, all our colleagues, our employees, and all stakeholders to make sure that I am there for whatever time that Krithi needs. And if nothing, it might be even symbolic. But I definitely have no plans to skimp on that, and will be available to Krithi 100%, not just during this transition period, at any point in time in future. After that, I want to take some downtime and spend some time with family, sit back and then think, many ideas are there. But now that the trigger has been pulled, I need to start crystallizing what those are. And it would not have been appropriate for me to go down that path while I was doing something as important as this, and which required more than 100% of my attention all the time. So that's the plan. So probably we will get to catch up and have that cup of coffee that we have been always talking about. And I'm looking forward to some downtime.
Thank you. Thank you, Nikunj. Thank you, Rajesh. Reema Tendulkar from CNBC. Reema, you can try to switch on your video and audio and join, please.
With a heavy heart, I'm, asking these questions, Rajesh. I'm truly going to be missing all our conversations every quarter talking about the numbers. So while you tear up, I've got a very heavy heart as well. But Rajesh, my first question is, when you chatted with Chandra about succession planning at TCS, who next? What were the thoughts? What were the conversations like? I know TCS has had a policy of promoting the insiders, but could you help us, talk about what led you all to narrow in on Krithi as, the next CEO? What were the qualities? Why did you select Krithi? That's, point number one. And secondly, in the next 6 months, what are the steps that you will be making sure to ensure that the transition is going to be extremely smooth? And Krithi, my question is, what would be your top 5 priorities now for the next 5 years? Will reversing TCS's underperformance versus Infosys be a priority? Will you be looking to change the margin guidance? Any big strategic changes, any big changes in the organization that you would like to effect? Thank you.
Thanks, Reema. It's very nice to hear you say that you're going to be missing it. We used to be dreading your 5 pages of notes, and it was easier to navigate the board meeting than the day after. But jokes aside, it's always been a pleasure. As I said, it's something that kept on egging us on. Your question was that how did we narrow on to Krithi, right? See, in TCS, we have a very transparent and very cohesive culture. We have always said that it's been about collective leadership. So the board has very high visibility to the, a very large part of the leadership team, and there is very close interaction on an ongoing basis. So the top 10, 15 people get in front of the board many times a year. There is a lot of interaction. And plus, of course, Chandra, as the chairman, knows each and every one of them personally, professionally for decades. To this is very unique to who TCS is, and we have not tried to go away from that. The choices were, I'm sure, Chandra and the board will weigh in on that maybe at a later point. But
Rajesh on mute, we can't hear.
Next one.
Great. We have Swati Khandelwal from Z Business. Swati, you can take your questions and switch on your video.
Gentlemen, and of course it's a mix.
Okay, well, that's the outgoing CEO and the incoming CEO, both on the same platform answering questions. Moshe is still with us. Moshe, I trust you heard the conversation there. Any additional thoughts before we wrap this up?
As I said, there's no ideal timing for this event. That's typically the case. And I guess there are a lot of talks about transition and smooth transition. And, it seems that they seem to be in a pretty decent shape. I don't think the market's going to like it. But again, the market ultimately will get over it because it's a very large company. These are executives that have been with the company for a long time. They've probably been marked as next successors down the road, and he was picked. So, but that's kind of, as I said, it is what it is, and it's part of the business, unfortunately.
Right. Moshe, you recently turned cautious on the IT sector. Just wanted to understand, okay, what we'll do is we'll continue this conversation in just a minute. Take a short break, come back. On the other side, we have Hemang Jani, who's joining in for some fundamental ideas as well.